Beam City Sports back at you again with another live radio show on KUBU Radio 96.5 FM. Tyler Texeira and Luke Mitchell coming to you in Sacramento, California. How you feeling, Luke?
I'm feeling good. How we doing, Sacramento? We heating up here in the studio. We
Yes,
also
sir.
heating up in Sacramento again, unfortunately, but we hot. We here. We ready to light the beam. It was just lit the other night. It was beautiful to see, but looking forward to it after a W, too.
Yep. Yeah, we are really hyped for, the NBA season coming up. We got a huge show today. Bunch of stuff to talk about. We got a
news.
Big trade. Karl-Anthony Towns going to the New York Knicks out of nowhere. You actually broke the news to me. It was crazy when that happened.
When did I call you at, 10th? I don't know.
Yeah, it was like 9 or 10 at night, and I had no clue what was happening. You called me right after it happened. But yeah, and so we also got the NBA East standings predictions coming up this show for us. Last week we did the West, and we're also going to get into the MLB playoffs and the A's last game in Oakland, which was pretty emotional for both of us.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the MLB playoffs yesterday was super hyped. It was so
Very
fun
hyped.
to watch that.
Yeah, especially after the day before that, the Braves and the Mets played a doubleheader.
Yeah.
To decide to go who's going to that wild card game right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, yesterday that was some pretty good baseball yesterday, and again, more games today to be played.
Yeah, really, really excited to see what happens in this MLB playoffs. But let's jump into the big theme of this show, the big trade. Karl-Anthony Towns going to the New York Knicks, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are receiving Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a future Detroit Pistons first-round pick that is actually super protected. Probably won't even come out to be a first-round pick, so it's not really a pick.
Yeah, kind of just an offloading kind of thing.
And not too big of a part of this trade, but the Hornets did jump in and help these two teams out. They received Daquan Jeffries and a few second-round picks just to make the money match and everything work. So, yeah, this trade came out of nowhere. There was a huge speculation with the Timberwolves of what they're going to do with Karl-Anthony Towns and his contract situation. He's one of the highest-paid players in the league right now, making $49 million this year. So the Timberwolves got off his contract, but they might have downgraded a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah,
getting Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo.
Definitely downgraded, but it's also a team that's super well developed and then also has another superstar big man that could still fill in that role down low defensively. Won't really be able to stretch the floor as much because Cat is like one of the most prolific big men that can shoot and guard kind of. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously it's a mismatch on some people, but he's one of the best stretch 5 players in the league.
He's a great offensive player for sure, yeah. But yeah, Julius Randle, a lot of question marks for him going to Minnesota.
Yeah.
He's been known as kind of a ball stopper his whole career. We'll see how he plays with Anthony Edwards, a big ISO player. Both of these guys are ISO players, so it'll be interesting to see how they fit on the court. But yeah, so Julius Randle was the longest tenured Knick at the time, and now he is gone.
It's a new team.
Yep, and Karl-Anthony Towns was the longest tenured Timberwolves. So both of these guys were, kind of the vets on their team.
Yeah.
Leaders on both of their teams, and they're both gone, moving to their new teams. And it's crazy because last week we just had a report that Thibodeau asked Julius Randle if he was okay playing the center position, and Randle said he was willing to buy in and do anything for that team. And then a week later, he gets traded.
Yeah, I mean, we could only speculate on what words say versus how they came out because maybe Thibodeau heard it and was just I don't believe you. I don't know. The way you said it, the way you told me, I can't really buy into it. And then obviously with it, the season coming up, there's probably a bunch of workouts coming down. Maybe he probably wasn't putting out a normal center what they asked for. So they had the opportunity and they made the move. And I think overall, Knicks won this.
Oh yeah.
Overall,
I definitely agree with that.
Out the door.
Yeah. So this trade, was a big financial move for Minnesota. They weren't going to be able to pay Karl-Anthony Towns in the next few years if they wanted to keep their core of, Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, McDaniels, Conley, Naz Reid, all their good role players.
Yeah.
And they decided to go with the role players over the star player. So we'll see how that turns out for Minnesota. But the Knicks, really excited about their season coming up. I would love to see them make a big run. I think this is the best Knicks team we've ever seen in our lifetime for
definitely.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can go back to Carmelo's Knicks back in that time. They were still playoff teams, but they weren't making deep runs that much. But this Knicks team is something I was already a fan of it.
Yeah.
Last week and the week before we were talking about it a little bit. But no, this Knicks team, I'll have to do some switching in my West standings from last week, and then maybe move the Knicks up in this week's standings for me.
Yeah, definitely. So, last year on September 27th, kind of the dead part of the offseason when, no one thinks anything's happening. Media day's coming up. But the same day last year was the day Damian Lillard got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. So September 27th in the offseason, mark it on your calendar because it's a big day.
It's a big day.
Yeah, big trades happen in back-to-back years.
I will say, didn't Dame request a trade though at that time?
He did request a trade, but it took a long time for them to get the trade going, and no one really expected the Bucks to get in on it. He was projected to go to Miami Heat, something like that. But yeah, the Bucks jumped in, and now we got 2 years in a row with probably the biggest moves of the offseason coming at the very dead part.
Yeah,
after free agency, before media day. But yeah, so it was very rare timing for the trade, I think.
I definitely wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to talk about DiVincenzo leaving the Knicks. I will say I think DiVincenzo is a great player, great person to I think should come off the bench in Minnesota. But I also think people overhype him a little too much.
Yeah.
I liked him on the Kings. He was great for the Kings for that 1 year he was here. Then he went to the Warriors, and he definitely made an impact on the Warriors.
He definitely did. Yeah.
He helped train up what Pajemski?
Yeah.
His name. He for that 1 year he was there, or 2 years he was there.
Yeah, he played great defense. He learned a lot on the shooting end from Steph, and last year he was fourth in the league in 3-pointers made.
Yeah.
So
I do think he's a great player, but I think he's more of like a top tier role player than he is like a big trade piece.
Yeah, I can see that. It is sad to see the Knicks. They picked up Mikal Bridges. They had all the Villanova boys together. Josh Hart, Brunson, Bridges, and DiVincenzo. All those guys played together in college. Won a championship in college as well. And they're all best friends.
They're all best friends.
But it was weird that a report came out, Dante DiVincenzo, when the trade happened, you'd think he'd be super hyped to, get his friend and get even a better team.
Yeah.
But he wasn't happy with the move. He knew he would have to come off the bench.
Have to come off the bench.
He wasn't happy with that after a career year. He wanted a bigger role.
It does make sense. I mean, the Knicks making this trade, like him leaving, because they would have to sacrifice a lot of playing time for switching these players around. And you can't really afford that when you're trying to have one player get hot and stay hot, and you have to take him out because it's like, we got to get him and get some playing time.
Yeah, and even with Dante, like in Minnesota, he still might come off the bench. It's not for sure. Julius Randle's probably out to start the year. So in the beginning of the year, they could go small ball and start him with Anthony Edwards and Mike Conley.
Definitely.
But once Julius Randle comes back, I don't see Dante in the starting lineup.
No, I don't see him in the starting lineup, but I do see him 6-man.
Yeah, and getting
off the bat
more minutes than he would on this New York Knicks.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It would have been cool to see the Villanova boys on the court though.
Yeah,
that would have been the power of friendship team, man. I always love teams like that when it's just the high chemistry bouncing off of each other.
Yeah, and we only got to see the Nova Knicks. Never got to see him play. We only had them together for about 2 months.
Yeah, saw them in the off season.
Yeah, and they never stepped on the court together. So crazy trade in the NBA. Some concerns for the Knicks, though. Moving on from Randall, picking up Karl-Anthony Towns. They're going to play him at the center position after the last few years playing the 4. He's not very known for his strong rim protection. He's not a good rim protector down low. And the Knicks, they have great perimeter defenders with OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart. So maybe that can, mask some of his downsides. But Karl-Anthony Towns is going to have to step up on the defensive end.
He's going to have to make some sort of adjustment.
Yeah.
And, I mean, who knows? Maybe the lights in New York will make his game time better.
Oh, yeah. I think, and he's actually from New Jersey, so I think he's really excited to come back kind of, in his home.
Kind of, yeah.
Close to home. And,
I do want to say, I think the Knicks could have traded for Gobert and got this and did the same package.
Yeah.
And they would have gotten their rim protection that they needed down low. Cat. I mean, obviously, it's also the financial thing. Yeah. I don't think Gobert's on as big as a contract.
No, he's getting paid.
He's getting paid
a lot.
Yeah. Actually, I forgot he did get that re-signed.
Yeah.
But I think they should have traded for Gobert instead of Cat.
I think that was more Minnesota's decision though, because I think they value Gobert more than Karl-Anthony Towns.
I mean, probably with his especially with Ant there.
Yeah.
With Ant being the new face of the franchise.
Yeah.
I guess it does make sense.
Yeah, and pretty much every team Rudy Gobert's been on has been number one defensive rated in the NBA during the regular season, though.
Yeah.
Playoffs,
he isn't there in the playoffs.
He's been kind of exposed every year in the playoffs. So, I think the Knicks made the right move getting Cat. The offensive end for them is just going to be insane. They can move the ball. The pick and roll, pick and pop with Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns.
It's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And they got great corner three-point shooters with Mikal and OG Anunoby. It takes a lot of pressure off Brunson. Like we saw last year, he was having to drop 40 every game.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't have to do that. So.
We're going to have to make a trip out there to New York and watch the Kings play.
No, I really want to.
I think that's in January?
January 25th.
Yep. We got to try and make that happen.
Let's fly out. So, yeah, the Timberwolves moving on. Anything else you got to say about this trade before we move on?
I'm going to go back to last week's show real quick. I had the Timberwolves at number 1 in the standings. Mm-hmm. I'm going to drop them down to 3.
Yeah, I definitely had. We both had them number 1.
Yeah.
I would drop them as
I'm
well.
dropping them to 3.
Yeah.
Mavs number 1, Thunder number 2, Timberwolves number 3.
Okay, yeah. The Timberwolves last year, they were in the Western Conference Finals. Only, they got beat by Dallas. They were only a few games from making the NBA Finals, and we've never seen the Timberwolves in the NBA Finals. They haven't been this good since they had Kevin Garnett way back in the day. And I think, with this trade, I think it might take them out of real contention, which sucks to say. Because last year I did see them as real contenders, especially in the playoffs after they swept the Phoenix Suns, who no one really expected.
And
then they get rid of their second or third best player, and now I don't think they are true contenders.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. They definitely fell out quick.
Yeah.
Immediately. I thought about this right when I saw the trade. Mm-hmm. I was just like, Wolves are going to be I don't want to call them pretenders but they're on that brink right there. They're on that kind of teeter-totter back and forth.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how they are when Julius Randle comes back. They're going to be missing a lot of that offensive power for sure.
For sure.
And I will say Anthony Edwards is probably going to be an MVP favorite.
I think this even
he's gone.
Probably puts him even more higher on the MVP ladder.
He's going to average 30 points a game.
I could definitely see that happening. That would make the Timberwolves still top 3 seed for sure. So I could definitely see that. A quote on this trade was, nobody wanted to admit it, but Minnesota had to trade Karl-Anthony Towns. There's an argument of waiting a year, which, a lot of people thought they should have done. They should have gave it one more year after making it to the conference finals.
I was going to say that. Yeah. I think they should have waited a year, but maybe, continue.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of confusion up in the Minnesota front office. They don't know what's going on. Alex Rodriguez was supposed to buy the team. He's not buying the team anymore. There's a lot of weird stuff happening in Minnesota, and that played a huge factor into why they made this trade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for the Karl-Anthony Towns trade. Unless you have anything else, we can move on to our Eastern Conference standings predictions for next year. The Knicks, making some big moves, and they jumped up for me from the last time, we talked about them. But so let's fly through the bottom 3. I think it's pretty easy for the bottom 3.
Rebuilding. Yeah.
These
I do want to see where you have them lined up, though.
Okay, yeah. 15, I had the Brooklyn Nets.
Brooklyn Nets, same.
Okay,
got the Nets down there.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going for that pick next year.
Yeah,
I would love to see Cooper Flag in Brooklyn. That would be awesome.
That'd be pretty tight.
Yeah. 14, I had the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
You too?
Wizards at 14.
Yeah, we're right on. I love the Wizards, though. I can't wait until they're good because I love Jordan Poole. You know that.
I'm a fan of Kyle Kuzma, too.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't like Kuzma. I don't know, maybe his off-court antics and stuff. And then, he might say some stupid but he still averages 21 points a game, almost 10 rebounds and
solid
5
defense.
assists, solid defense. Yeah. And he's consistent too. He shoots around 40% all around.
You definitely want that on a team. I think if Washington, they're going to be struggling this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up moving Kuz halfway through the year.
Yeah. He was a player that I wanted to see on the Kings for a little bit.
I know. I was really pushing for the Kings to get him, but really happy with DeMar.
Yeah.
Can't say that enough. 13, I had the Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got the Charlotte Hornets at 13.
Oh, I'm a little high on the Hornets, actually. I kind of like the Hornets team.
I do like them.
Yeah.
I do think they're still too young, though.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
With LaMelo kind of being the captain and everything. I like Brandon Miller a lot. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a great small forward in the next few years.
The next Paul George, for sure.
Yeah. But I have them down at 13. I don't think they're going to I don't think they're going to close out games.
Yeah, the problem with the Hornets is when LaMelo's healthy, they're actually a really good team.
Yeah,
but LaMelo just hasn't been healthy in the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
He was the youngest All-Star to make it since Magic Johnson and LeBron James back a few years ago.
That's pretty impressive.
So he's been balling since he's come in the league, and a few years ago he had Charlotte in the play-in race. Not a very good team. They always lose that play-in game. So I had the Bulls at 13. I think Zach LaVine had a very interesting press conference the other day talking about how he's going to buy into his role. I don't really know if I believe it though. I think they're still looking to trade him.
I think he's going to play for a trade.
Yeah,
he's going to get his trade stock up. Mm-hmm. I think he wants to be elsewhere now.
I definitely agree. I think the Bulls also want to move on from him.
Yeah,
and I think that interview, he went on like a 3-minute rant about how all these rumors about him are not true. You need to hear it from himself, and he's willing to buy in, and he wants to do this and that for the team. And like you said, I think he's doing that to up his trade value and go to a contender.
I have them at 12 though. Okay. The Bulls right at 12.
Yeah. So you had the Hornets at 13. I had the Bulls. You had the Bulls at 12.
Yep.
I had the Detroit Pistons.
Okay.
I think they'll be a little bit better than last year.
I think they're going to be way better than last year.
Yeah, they only won 14 games last year.
I think that's going to be way different.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get up around like 30 wins or so.
Yeah, that would be a solid year for them, and they're building. They never get luck in the lottery. They had the worst record by far last year and ended up with the 5th pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So, the NBA is not rewarding these teams for winning 14 games anymore.
Yeah,
You're not going to get the number 1 pick.
Nope.
But yeah, I do believe in Cade Cunningham. I think he's a stud. Jaden Ivey, I think he's ready to take that next step.
I hope so. I like Jaden Ivey going into that draft that year. A lot of people thought the Kings were going to get him.
I thought they
Glad
were.
we passed up.
I'm so happy. Yeah.
No, I hope he does take that step because he did struggle a little bit last year.
Yeah.
But he's a great defensive player too.
Yeah, for sure. Jaden Ivey gets after it on the defensive end. So
that
that was 12. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Pistons at 11.
Okay. So who was your 12?
The Bulls.
Oh yeah, the Bulls at 12. I had the Pistons. You had the Pistons at 11. So we're kind of one behind.
Yeah.
I had the Hornets at 11. So we got the same bottom 4, bottom 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we get into the interesting part. Who's going to make the play-in tournament? At number 10, I had the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay, I got the Toronto Raptors at 10.
Yep, I had the Raptors at 9.
Okay, I got the Hawks at 9.
Yeah, so we're pretty on pace with it. I do believe in Trae Young, like we've talked about a few shows ago with the point guard rankings. I do love Trae Young's game. I think losing DeJounte Murray might even improve his game.
It will improve it, but I think their offense is going to take a big dip.
I definitely think so. And they're believing in a lot of their young guys this year. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up trading like a Clint Capella.
I was going to say, Clint's kind of at the end of his, he's at the end of his contract over there, I'm pretty sure.
So might as well move on from him while
he's also aging a little bit. He's kind of slowing down.
Yeah.
Still gets about 11 rebounds a game. But,
he's a rebounding machine. And they have Onyeka Okongwu in the backup. He's been waiting to take that starting spot for 3 years now.
I think he'll probably start this
opening
year
night?
at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that too.
Yeah, if not opening night.
Yeah. But with the Raptors, I put the Raptors above the Hawks. We've talked about I love Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, Scotty Barnes. He's one of my favorite players in the league right now.
I think Davion Mitchell is going to make a big impact.
He's starting over there.
No,
right?
I think they're going to start Quickly at the point guard.
I forgot they have Quickly.
Quickly is a bucket.
Yeah, I forgot that they have Isaiah Quickly.
Yeah, Quickly. Emmanuel Quickly. He might have been the biggest breakout star in this offseason's workouts.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of NBA stars have been playing against him in these open runs, and they're saying Quickly is going to be an all-star this year.
Okay.
I could see him averaging 20 to 22 points a game. I also think Scotty Barnes is going to average around that as well.
Scotty's going to be up there for sure.
And then also RJ Barrett, who is a 20-point scorer in this league. That's 3 20-point scorers.
They do have a good team.
So, and they're also a good defensive team. It was weird, though. They came out, Jakob Poeltl came out the other day, their center, and he said at Media Day, we know we're not winning the championship this year. We're trying to develop our young guys and all this stuff. And I just don't think that's a good thing to say from a player.
At all as a player.
I mean, obviously we know the Raptors aren't winning the championship this year.
You can say that, but then it's a sport, so anybody could win.
Anything could happen. That is true.
Anybody could win it.
I don't like the mindset that Jakob Poeltl's coming into this year with.
I don't think the NBA would allow it. I mean, the rest would definitely throw a lot of these games.
The Raptors already got theirs.
The Raptors,
you saw it.
Yeah. But I mean, as a player, you should not say, I don't think we're going to win the championship.
Yeah.
We're just, it's no, dude, you're going on the court. Mm-hmm. You got to win every game that you play until the end.
Yeah, exactly. And their owner, their general manager, Masai Ujiri, who's known as one of the best general managers in the NBA. He's made some good trades over the years, and he even said, we're rebuilding. We have a good young core. We have a direction at this point, but we are still rebuilding. And so, these guys don't really believe in their team, and I think I believe in their team more than they do.
Man, that's why they're in Toronto.
Yeah. I think in the next few years, though, Toronto could be a team to look out for in the East.
Yeah. I do like Toronto as a team, but it doesn't sound like there's any confidence at all.
Yeah, and I don't understand it.
They have confidence in the future, but if there's no confidence now, then it's not going to last.
Yeah. I do believe in Masai Ujiri, though. I think he's always made the right moves. Getting Kawhi for that 1 year obviously
That's
paid
true.
off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my 9. Hawks were your 9.
Yep.
Number 8 for me, Miami Heat.
Got the Heat at 8.
Okay, the Heat are always around this. They made the finals as an 8 seed 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler.
It's pretty much the same team.
Yeah, same team as always. Jimmy Butler coming in to media day for the first time in a few years without a crazy haircut, without any makeup on or anything. Like, he looked locked in, and we haven't seen that Jimmy Butler.
Maybe he's ready for a change.
I think, to get traded. Yeah, I know. We've been hinting at that. If Miami does struggle this year, definitely could see Jimmy getting moved.
Yeah.
But, Bam Adebayo, definitely going to be an all-star this year. Definitely going to be in the Defensive Player of the Year running.
Yeah.
But yeah, he needs to shoot more threes this year. That's the only thing I can say about the Heat. And Tyler Hero.
I think
needs to take the next step. Tyler Hero is a great player. I love his game. He showed some in the playoffs about his playmaking. I think he needs to take the next step.
I think no matter what, Jimmy is gone by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Because, unless they're top 5, then I think he'll stay. Mm-hmm. But if they're around the same, like this 8 seed, 9 seed kind of spot, they're going to move on. And then if they're even lower, then he's for sure gone.
Yeah.
But I don't think they like being this mid-ground, pretty much bottom-ground playoff team.
Their team definitely has a ceiling. Even at their best, they're not a championship team.
They're not a championship team.
We've seen them go on a finals run, but it wasn't even close when they made it to the finals.
You can tell when they're get there, they're struggling, they're slowed down. Mm-hmm. They don't have that. Jimmy is that star player but you need another one. He's not a LeBron. He's not KD.
That's
he's
very
not
true.
Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were both of our 8s. Interesting to see. 7 for me was the Indiana Pacers.
Okay, I got the Cavs at 7.
Yeah, that's a low for the Cavs. I think the Cavs are getting underrated at this point.
Really?
I think Donovan Mitchell is still a stud out there. They have a very good defense, with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. They do have question marks about the clashing positions with the Darius Garland and Mitchell, and then Mobley and Jared Allen.
Yeah.
But I think they fit more than we think.
Interesting.
And they always have a good defense throughout the year. They got a new coach. They want to play fast-paced. I think the Cavs are going to be – I had them at 6, so not too much higher.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
It was hard for me to put the Pacers this low.
I have them at 6. I had them right above the Cavs.
Yeah.
It is pretty tough to put them this low, but they are still one of those teams that have a young core and are still they are developing for sure, but I think they need a couple more years to become that 3 seed up top.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tyrese too. And when he's deep, 2 more years into his career, when he's completely found himself as a player, he's going to be leading that team for sure to a lot of playoffs and potentially, East Coast championships.
Yeah, they were in the conference finals last year. So crazy run for the Pacers last year. Pascal Siakam was seen to be a big pickup for them, obviously paid off. I think he's loving it there in Indiana. The question mark for them is Benedict Mathurin.
Yeah.
He played very well this regular season. Then he got hurt. Then they went on the playoff run. He's still a young player. And they found a guy in Andrew Nemhard, who I love his game, starting at the 2 guard. He hits some big shots. He plays great defense. But yeah, Benedict Mathurin is a question mark over there.
I was a fan of him when he first got drafted.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny because I was working at a little wine bar in downtown. And the Pacers were in town, and I'm just hanging out front when it's slow. And I see him walking down just in Doko.
No way.
Just by himself. He's just hanging out. I'm like, that's Benedict Mathurin right there. He's just looking around, just checking out Sacramento. It was pretty cool. But after that point when I saw him, I was like, I'm a fan of him. I'm going to start watching him.
No, he's a stud, too.
He's a stud,
He gets buckets.
And he's explosive.
Yeah.
He can get up and down the court. He gets to the rim. He can do stuff for sure.
Yeah, I think he's He's a little too one-dimensional right now, though. He doesn't really swing the ball, and Indiana is a team that wants to move the ball.
He's a scorer. He's a scoring mentality player for sure.
I think if they bring him off the bench as like a super six man, he could have a big year. Yeah,
definitely.
That is really cool that you saw him outside of Doak. Yeah. So Pacers at 7, Cavs at 6 for me.
I have the. Are we 7? On 7? Okay, I'm at 6. I had the Cavs at 7, and then the Pacers at 6.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, top 5 coming in.
Top 5.
Yeah. So my number 5 was the Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. Yeah, I think Orlando is a great team this year. They're super exciting. I'd love to go see them play the Kings because those games always go down to the wire.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Paolo,
De'Aaron's buzzer beater.
Yeah,
De'Aaron's buzzer beater. A couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Still think about that. Paolo Banchero, going to be one of the top 5 players in the league in the next 3 years.
Yeah, I think the next 2 years.
Yeah,
maybe next year.
And he's younger than us. And he's 7 foot tall, can do it all on the floor.
Big man.
Yeah,
dude's huge.
He's listed at 6'11", but he looks 7'2".
And then he dribbles up and down the court like nothing.
Mm-hmm. He's like a point guard in a center's body.
It's kind of like LeBron.
Yeah,
hints of LeBron.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. But yeah, they have a good supporting cast this year as well. Jalen Suggs had a good year last year. Picked up KCP, who I know that's your guy.
KCP,
top 10 shooting guard. Franz Wagner, we've talked about a lot.
I love Franz Wagner.
Yeah, he's gonna have a big year. Orlando, young team on the rise. I have them at 5.
I think they're even better. I got the Bucks at 5.
Yeah, I could see that.
I do think the Bucks are still, a great East team.
Yeah.
But they're losing Chris Middleton. Mm-hmm. He's like kind of slipping away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're still just one of those teams that's, it's kind of like the Nuggets. They have that old team that like their championship core.
Yeah.
But they're kind of losing their backup roles and everything.
They're losing the big role players.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will be back in about 3 minutes after this short break. Gonna say rest in peace to MLB legend Pete Rose, all-time hits leader, should be in the Hall of Fame. Rest in peace, Charlie Hustle. Also, rest in peace to one of the best shot blockers the NBA's ever seen, Dikembe Mutombo. Sad day the other day. Both of those legends passed away.
Great lives. Great lives.
Yeah, R.I.P. to them. No. Always remember that.
Not today. All right.
Tyler Texeira and Luke Mitchell on 96.5 FM. We'll come back to you in about 3 minutes.
Cheers.
Beam City Sports back at you for the second half of the show. If you're listening on YouTube, please go like and subscribe. And if you're listening on the radio, thank you so much again. Love having you every Wednesday 1 to 2 on 96.5 FM. This is Tyler Texeira and Luke Mitchell getting back into our Eastern Conference standings predictions.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, it's a good day. We had a pretty entertaining house talking about the cat trade and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about Eastern Conference standings.
Big moves. Moves. Number 5, I had the Orlando Magic, just to jump back in.
Orlando Magic 5. I had the Bucks at 5.
You had the Bucks 5.
Yeah.
Talked about how, they're an older team.
Giannis is still one of the,
top 3 players in the league.
Top 3 player in the league for sure.
Yeah.
But they don't have the backup players to keep them going when him and Dame are off the court and everything.
That's very true.
Chris Middleton's old. He's slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
Still can shoot the ball.
Always
play some
hurt
defense,
as well.
But he's always hurt.
I think he might even be coming into the
I
year
think he's
hurt.
going into I'm pretty sure he's going to be out.
That's a big blow for the Bucks.
Big blow.
I really like you putting them at 5. You're kind of convincing me because I'm not really a believer in this team.
There's too many better teams in the East.
Mm-hmm. They picked up Gary Trent Jr. in this offseason, which is their big offseason move. I know it's not enough. He is a very solid player, though.
Yeah.
Could jump into that, a new role for them. He's a very good shooter, plays good defense, could really help them out. He'll probably be starting at that 2 guard for them.
Yeah.
So, I had them at 4.
I got the Magic at 4.
Yeah.
So, we talked about them at 5. Great team, great young people that are coming up. I'm a big fan of Cole-Anthony.
Yeah, Cole-Anthony.
I like him. He has to come off the bench behind Suggs half the time.
Yeah.
Which is he's almost a starting caliber player.
Yeah, he wants to average 20. When he comes in off that bench, he's going to get them shots up.
Yeah, I
he's
could see him potentially being 6 man of the year if he is in that position coming off the bench like that.
Don't say that. You know who's going to win 6 man.
Monk.
You know who it is.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Also, the Kings came in today and said Keon Ellis is starting at 2.
Keon starting at 2. So, I love that. I love that.
We talked about that a lot. We definitely both agree. Yeah. Keon deserves that.
And I think Monk is more than happy to come off the bench as 6 man because he thrived at that role. And he averaged more minutes too coming off the bench. it's not like you're getting less minutes coming off the bench. You're just starting with a different squad. You're the leader of the bench.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who starts. It matters who finishes the game.
It matters who finishes.
You know he's going to be in when it matters most.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that was the Bucks at 4. I had the Philadelphia 76ers as my number 3 seed.
I think we have the top 3 same. I got the Sixers at 3.
Sixers at 3.
I guess I don't need to move any of my things around.
Yeah.
Just because I thought I had the Knicks at 3 for some reason, but
I moved them up after this trade. I had them at 3 before the trade.
Okay.
And now I moved them up to 2.
I had them at 2 originally.
Yeah, the Sixers had, before the Knicks, had the best offseason. They picked up Paul George, ton of good role players.
Yep.
The guy from France, Yabusele, the Dancing Bear. He's now on the Sixers as a backup 4.
That's a pretty good pickup right there.
Yeah, and Paul George as a third option on the team. You know, an article came out the other day of the best third options in the NBA right now. Paul George is number 1.
The fact that Paul George is a third option.
It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, he is also at the end of his, I mean, he's probably done with his peak.
Yeah.
Like, he's still just a great vet.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, yeah, it's just crazy seeing that name, like, just third option. He's your, like, who do you have before? Tyrese Maxey and what? Joel? Like, what?
This crazy team.
Crazy talk.
They picked up some good vets. You know, they're really going for it this year. Joel Embiid also said he lost 25 to 30 pounds this offseason. And he doesn't care about the regular season at all. He said, I just want to be healthy for the playoffs. That's all I care about this year. Because every single year they make it to the playoffs, and then he gets hurt, and then they get knocked out.
Yep.
We've never really seen him be healthy in the playoffs.
Was that 25 pounds of fat or 25 pounds of muscle, though?
We'll see. I still think Joel is going to be a force down low. I don't think that's going to.
Definitely.
Losing that weight is going to be better for his knees.
I still think he's better than Nikola.
Yeah. On the offensive end, you have an argument there. I'm also on the defensive end. What am I saying? Joel is definitely a better defender.
Just overall.
Yeah. The only thing is the passing.
Passing,
with Jokic,
yeah.
But Embiid before he got hurt last year was the favorite to win MVP.
Yep.
So big year for the Sixers coming up. I think they're going to be a fun team to watch.
Yes, for sure. It's going to be a crazy East.
Yeah.
This top 3. This is going to be one of the most competitive conferences that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, usually in the East, we kind of have this one team
one
that we
team
know.
that just breaks out.
It used to be the Cavs with LeBron.
Yep.
It used to be Miami with LeBron. Then it was the Celtics.
Yep.
And now we got it's got some parity in the East.
It's shaping up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all shaping up. I hated it when it was just
LeBron.
Warriors, Cavs.
Yeah.
Warriors, Cavs.
Yeah.
It was so annoying, just repetitive, like Monopoly, just basketball.
Yeah.
Now basketball is coming back to skill. I mean, young players are dominating the league, so every team has a chance now.
Yeah, I love to see it. The Knicks were my number 2 seed. We talked a ton about them.
Yep.
Definitely believe in Jalen Brunson and his game. You know, they have a stacked team now, and also a guy off the bench for them we didn't mention, Miles McBride, who was kind of getting buried in that rotation when they picked up Mikal Bridges and all that. But now getting rid of Dante DiVincenzo, he's going to be the sixth man. And he played great in the playoffs for them. He had some games where he played all 48 minutes.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
You know, Tom Thibodeau does that with his guys. He's going to play him 48 minutes.
It's a workhorse, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And number 1, easily Boston Celtics, still number 1 in the East.
Yep. If they stay healthy, obviously, they need to stay. I mean, who am I? What? No, because even if one player's out, like the rest of the team is kind of dominant.
Porzingis is going to be out until January.
Okay.
So that's a big thing for them.
That is a big one.
Even
I
with
guess that
Porzingis,
is one where they don't really have a lot of backups for.
You know who could be getting a lot of minutes there is Keita, Neemias Keita.
Damn.
He's going to, I think he might even be starting at the 5 for them on opening night.
I was a big fan, man.
Yeah, man,
I was
me
a big
too.
fan.
First player in the NBA to come out of Portugal. So huge fan of him. He was on the Kings for a little bit, and now in Boston on a championship team. He got a ring last year. I think he's going to start when Porzingis is out. But even last year when Porzingis was out for a lot of the year, the Celtics ran away with the East. They won it by 14 games.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even close.
I don't think it's going to be like, I think the Knicks and the Sixers are going to be within 3 or 4 games at the end of the year.
I definitely agree with that. So yeah, that was our East standings. Let's run through real quick.
Back.
Yeah, 15, I had the Brooklyn Nets. 14, Wizards. 13, the Chicago Bulls. 12, the Detroit Pistons. 11, I had the Hornets. 10, the Atlanta Hawks. 9, the Toronto Raptors. 8, the Heat. 7, the Pacers. 6, the Cavs. 5, the Magic. 4, the Bucks. 3, the 76ers. 2, the New York Knicks. And 1, the Boston Celtics.
All right, I got the at 15, I got the Nets. 14, I got Wizards. 13, I got the Hornets. 12, I got the Bulls. 11, I got the Pistons. Raptors are at 10. 9, I got the Hawks. 8 are the Heat. 7, the Cleveland Cavaliers. 6, the Pacers. 5, the Bucks. 4, the Magic. 3, the Sixers, 2, the Knicks, and number 1, the Celtics.
That was our East standings next year, our predictions for next year. And if you're listening on YouTube, go subscribe.
Hell yeah, share. Yeah. Everything.
All that. All right, so now we're done with the NBA talk for today. Now we're going to get into our national pastime. Major League Baseball playoffs started yesterday. What a day.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Playoff baseball is so much different and so much better than and I think it's the best playoff in sports history.
Yeah, and yesterday was so intense. Every single game was like, all the emotion shown from every single player out there was just, it was so great to see. It made me like really miss baseball a lot. And so yeah, it's crazy to see.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it at the beginning of the show, but the doubleheader between the Mets and the Braves for just deciding who goes in.
Yeah.
So they split the series, which officially eliminated the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
And then they went in. The Braves played the Padres yesterday. They lost.
Yeah. The Mets played
and then the Mets played the Brewers and they won.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy because they play game 161 and 162.
Yep.
Double headers the day before playoffs.
Yeah.
And then the next day, you have Atlanta who flies from Atlanta to San Diego.
Yeah.
Play a game. And then it was
New York
flying to
Milwaukee.
I mean, that's going to be a bit easier for them. But and then now that again today, that's 5 games in 3 days.
Crazy.
That's pretty nuts.
That doesn't even add up.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, so the first game that was yesterday was the Tigers and the Astros. And the Tigers won this one 3-1. Love the Tigers team,
Tigers.
man. I love this Tigers team. It reminds me of, some A's teams we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
They have a ton of guys that no one really knows about.
Nope.
In August, they had a 0.2% chance of making it. In mid-August, they went on a crazy run.
I think they were 20 or 30-11 or something from All-Star break. Or
Them and the Padres had the best record since the All-Star break. And Tarek Skubal was rookie. Unanimous Cy Young Award winner. Hasn't even come out yet. The announcers were saying it yesterday that he is obviously the unanimous Cy Young. Yeah. He was a triple crown for a pitcher, which we do not see a lot. I don't think we've seen it since Verlander back in about over 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
So and he was a Detroit Tiger at the time as well. So
it's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I love seeing that. Also, I mean, we just talked about it in basketball. Young people are dominating the game.
Yeah.
Baseball's doing the same thing.
Yeah, and baseball's even more unpredictable than like basketball. And, a big note was Justin Verlander's not on the Houston Astros roster this series, so he's injured. That's a big loss for them, even though he's up there in age. He's always been a great playoff pitcher. They could have used him yesterday.
Always shows up.
Yeah.
But, I'm praying that the Tigers take down the Astros again.
Oh, yeah, me too. And
nobody wants to see that.
I think that game's actually starting, or it's going on right now.
It's starting, maybe 20 minutes ago, I think it started.
So, and the Detroit Tigers are a really underrated team, and they play good defense. They hit good in the clutch. Yep. They have a good bullpen, good starting rotation, and that really is just a recipe for underdog teams that make a big run in the playoffs.
Also, one of their biggest paid players, Javi Baez, isn't even playing. He's not as a star as he used to be. But they still paid how much money for him to come over there 2 years ago, and now he's one of the worst players on the team.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The Tigers, their manager, A.J. Hinch, has been huge, pushing all the right buttons.
Yep.
They're so unpredictable. No one really knows a lot on these young guys, and they're all hitting the ball.
Probably manager of the year.
Yeah, and so yesterday there was a big time when the Tigers had runners in scoring position. It was a 3-0 count, and they gave the guy the green light, and he hit a base hit to score the run. And that was a difference in the game. And,
there you go.
And so that shows how unpredictable this young Tigers team is.
Yeah.
They're ready to go after it. And, as we talked about, Tarek Skubal, just a stud. He got out of so many jams, screaming after he, got out of every inning, like yelling to the crowd. That just really hyped me up so much.
The hype is back in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Let the kids have fun.
Yeah.
Let them play.
Yeah, let them have fun. Let them flip the bat. Let them show some emotion.
Exactly. It's part of the game. It's always been this hush-hush, just run the base, do this. Don't give up a home run if you don't want them to have fun.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. But the Astros did make it interesting in the ninth, went down to the wire. Yeah. They scored in the ninth. They had bases loaded, 2 outs, 3-2 count. Jason Hayward up, who was on the Dodgers about a few months ago.
He's had some big moments already for the Astros.
And now he's on the Astros. And when I saw this, he lined out to first and to end the game. It was such a hard hit ball. I thought for sure it was going through. And, a first baseman for the Tigers made a great play.
Caught that.
Torkelson, that's his name.
Yep.
And he made a great play, and that closed it out. And, so the Tigers are hyped. They're going in to play today. They're up 1-0.
There we go.
Would love to see them beat the Astros.
Hopefully they close it out today.
Yeah. Some other games.
Never thought I would be saying, let's go Tigers.
I know, right? As A's fans, this is like a weird series for us.
This is not some bitter rivalry in the history between the Tigers and A's.
For sure. And then, but, we hate the Astros even more.
Oh,
So preying on the Astros' downfall. The Royals were at the Orioles yesterday for a pitcher's duel. Crazy story on the Kansas City Royals. They lost 106 games last year.
And then
now they're in the playoffs. They just won yesterday, 1-0. That shows baseball is so unpredictable.
I think so. They switched with the Twins. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
the Twins were projected to dominate the AL Central or the NL Central,
AL.
Right? AL Central, yeah. And then now the Twins got eliminated. They had the worst streak of all baseball in the end of the year, besides the White Sox, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, they were supposed to be dominating the AL Central, and then the Royals came in. Guardians came in, and all of it was fucking. It was.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, no. Yesterday we saw it was a weird game. Before the game started, there was a rain delay. They were pulling the tarps off the field in Baltimore. And it was a pitcher's duel. Corbin Burns and Cole Reagans, who Cole Reagans is a rookie. It's his first year as a full-time starter. Used to be a reliever, and he's still super young. He pitched a duel yesterday, and Corbin Burns went into the 9th inning for the Orioles, only allowing that one run.
That's impressive.
So, yeah, it was a pitcher's duel. And I wanted to ask, do you think it was because of the weather? Because I saw a lot of fly balls out there. Just like the Orioles were hitting some shots to the wall that were just dying. And
I mean,
might have been because of the weather.
Weather's probably one of the. In baseball, weather is one of the biggest factors in all sports. Really, in a lot of sports, you can get away with. Playing in snow and wind and rain and everything.
Yeah.
With baseball, that's going to affect anything happening.
Whatever way
ball.
the wind's going.
Exactly.
All that.
The ball's so small. It's it's and then also any wet ball, any wet surface coming in contact with anything, it's going to slip off the bat.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
We saw a ton of guys losing the bat yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They would swing through and lose the bat. It happened 3 times.
Even after putting on all that pine tar
Even
and
after
everything.
the pine tar, yeah.
Yeah. But so definitely for sure.
Yeah.
Usually in heavy, intense weather games for baseball, it's always a pitcher's duel. Always.
And the Orioles did have a chance to score in the 5th inning. Cedric Mullin to the base hit up the middle, and they had a runner at second, and they held him at third with 1 out. It was 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Cole Reagans came in and struck out the number 9 batter for the Orioles, and then he had to face Gunnar Henderson with 2 outs, 1st and 3rd. Also struck him out, and he was pumped after that.
Big plays, man.
Big plays.
That's the part of baseball I love is the intense, just at bats right there.
Yeah.
Obviously, with it being faster now, it's easier to get into it and stay into it.
Yeah.
But when pitchers and batters were taking their time, doing mind games, taking their time getting into the box, taking time, stepping out. It affects everything. But no, yeah, it's exciting now. The playoff baseball, it's just you're sitting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty
intense.
tight.
It's intense. The Royals, a while ago when they played the A's in the wild card, they were stealing bases left and right.
Yep.
And yesterday, they also stole a ton of bases, and it worked out for them. They stole base. They had Bobby Wood Jr. up with 2 outs in the 6th. He hit a base hit. He was the best hitter in baseball this year, average-wise, 332 average.
And he was just drafted.
Yeah, 32 home runs, 109 RBIs. He came up clutch with the base hit to score the only run of the game. And then the Royals bullpen came in and closed it out. And it's very similar to the old Royals team. They steal bases. They're gritty. They have a good bullpen. They just fight.
It's real baseball.
Yeah.
You see, I just watched Moneyball the other night. And that Moneyball team tried to get rid of stealing bases, bunting, everything like that.
Didn't work out.
Yeah. And now you see this Royals team who's a low payroll team.
Oh, yeah.
But they're still using, the old baseball game. You can't change the game of baseball.
Yeah. I got to give a shout out to someone in the Royals bullpen who had a 1-2-3 inning yesterday. Sam Long, who went to Del Campo not too long ago. And
shout out Del Campo.
Sam Long, and he got drafted for the Giants, and then he played for the A's for a year, and now he's on the Royals pitching in the wild card series.
That's pretty awesome.
Went 1-2-3, big lefty out there. So shout out to Sam Long, Del Campo legend.
When did he graduate?
I think like 2010, 2009, somewhere around there.
I thought he was okay. I thought he was gonna be a younger guy.
No. But he's been through the minors and all that, and now he's finally getting a real shot. So yeah, love to see Sam Long out there. Yeah. So yeah, that was the Royals and the Orioles game. I was rooting for the Orioles, but two teams that are very small market, underrated. I would love to see both of them go far.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the NL. The Mets played the Brewers in Milwaukee yesterday. A high-scoring game, the highest-scoring game we've seen in the playoffs. It was 8-4 Mets, and the Mets are just on a magical run right now.
Francisco Lindor has been slowly becoming one of my favorite players in the league to watch. His emotion to the game. He's so passionate. He wants that ring. You see it in his face when they clinched it the other day when they're playing Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Just when they got the final out, you see him drop to his knees at second base, and you see it in his face just how happy he was to make it in the playoffs. Yeah, and the Mets were kind of out of the race too, and then they picked up Jose Iglesias, who has that famous song that's really ignited this Mets team. And also, I saw a thing, Pitbull is making a remix with him to that song. So, that's probably going to be playing all this playoffs. That's pretty funny. But Jose Iglesias is a vet. He's been in the league for a long time. He came from Colorado? Yeah, he used to be. He was on a ton of teams. He was on Detroit back in the day. He was known for his glove at shortstop. He's one of the best defenders at shortstop. And now he's making an impact on the other end. He's making plays at the plate. That's pretty awesome. Yesterday, he dove into head first. He dove head first into first to beat out the pitcher, and that led to someone else getting a base hit, and it scored all those runs in the fifth inning. Back-to-back base hits after that. That slammed his face into the ground for that one. And he was hustling, and that shows how much he wanted it. That gave them an 8-4 lead, and they never looked back. No, yeah, the Mets are for sure one. I don't think they're gonna make it to the World Series, but I think we're one of the new favorites, underdog favorites to win it. For sure. So look out for the Mets. They, Luis Severino, old New York Yankee, was their starting pitcher. He struggled at first in the first few innings. Then he settled in and had a very good outing. He went to the sixth inning and pitched very well. Luis Severino's that, he's nasty. He throws hard. He used to be on the Yankees. Yep. He was the guy that pitched against the A's in the wild card game when they played the Yankees. And he shut the A's down. He shut them down. That was when I really noticed how good of a pitcher he is. Yeah, I know a lot of Yankees fans that were mad when he left. Oh yeah, they were pissed when he got out of there. He's a stud for sure. Okay, well that their second game, Mets and Brewers, starts at 4:38 today. 4:30. All right. Well, we'll see if the Mets can close that out or if the Brewers take it to Game 3. Yeah. Another game we saw yesterday, the Braves, like you said, flying to San Diego after that game, 161, game 162. And they played the Padres. Padres won this one 4-0. Fernando Tatis hit a first inning 2-run homer. He brought it. It was projected that the Padres were going to win it from the get. Just obviously Atlanta coming off of that doubleheader, but again the Michael King, we were talking about it earlier. Yeah, that guy has been on a tear this year. Michael King. He's how many strikeouts? 12? Yeah, 12 strikeouts for Michael King yesterday with 0 walks. Yeah, no, that's can't be much better. That's what you asked for. That's what you asked for going into playoff baseball. Yeah, for sure. And he got out of some jams as well. Those strikeouts with runners in scoring position are so big. Any other division that the Padres would have been in, they would have won the division. Yeah. But obviously playing in the Dodgers. Yeah. It's going to be tough when they play someone who buys their rings. True. I would love to see San Diego go on a magical run. You said it last week. That's who I have them going. Yeah, you predicted, and I love that pick. I think Manny Machado, they talked about it yesterday. He's having more fun than he ever has had in his career. Tatis playing a great, outfield now, moving from shortstop to the outfield. And that home run that he hit was just magical, honestly. The bat flip, the emotion. It was a great scene. It's San Diego's now a baseball city. Yeah. They don't got anything else to root for, really. Yeah. But, San Diego's a baseball city, and they're ready for something to come down. They haven't won one ever, so. No, never. They need a chip. Yeah, I would love to see San Diego, Also, Kyle Higashioka hit a home run in the end. He's their number 9 hitter, but he was hitting the ball very hard yesterday. Yeah. He hit a home run to make it 4-0. That really closed it out. And, like we said, Michael King, 12 strikeouts, no walks. Great performance for him. Their first-year manager, too, is also up for Manager of the Year. But he's put on – obviously it was kind of sad to see Bob Melvin leave. But, their new manager has put on a good show and showed that he could, just get things going with the team that he has. Kind of the struggling pitching staff that he had at the beginning of the year. Everybody was questioning it. It's just like they lost Blake Snell. I mean, Darvish was kind of hurt, I think, going into it. But he's shown that he could put a playoff team together. Yeah, for sure. Some games that are going on right now are the Tigers and the Astros are tied 2-2 in the top of the 8th. So that game's almost over. Damn. And then also another game on is the Royals and the Orioles, and the Royals are already up 1-0 in the first inning. So it's 2-2 in the top of the 8th? Yeah, 2-2 top of the 8th. Dang. Okay, so Tigers just scored because I'm looking at it. It says 2-1 still. Oh, yeah, they must have just scored. They'd probably just hit a home run or something. Yeah. So my pick, the Orioles, I really hope they win today or they're done because I love the Orioles team. I think they're a great young team. But if they do lose today, they're not going to be gone. They're going to be around playoffs for the few next coming years. Oh, for sure. With how young and strong their team is, they're going to be a strong powerhouse team. Yeah, probably overtaking the Yankees. Because if the Yankees don't win it now, I don't think they're coming back with this same team. I agree. I think at least
Juan Soto could leave.
I mean, he just got there is the thing. Yeah. But I see Giancarlo leaving. Mm-hmm. I see, Verdugo fell off. He's not good anymore. He used to be so good. I see a lot of their pitching staff is on the end of their contract. Garrett Cole is kind of, he's still great. He's really good. Really great. But I could see him leaving too. Yeah, I definitely could too. I don't believe in the Yankees. No. I'm saying it right now, or the Dodgers, honestly. Baseball is not the sport for that. You don't buy your rings. It's not like basketball, where basketball, if you have the most talent in a 7-game series, you're going to win it 99% of the time. Yeah. In baseball, can't really do that. It's really a 50-50 chance no matter who you have. No matter what. Anything can happen. The ball can bounce either way, can barely hit the foul line. Or you got to give the other team a chance. Yeah. You have to throw the ball over the plate. You got to give them a chance to swing the bat. Yeah, and like you said, we see some games later. The Mets and the Brewers starting at 4:30. Braves and the Padres starting at 5:30. So very excited for those two games. Got to get in a couple words about this A's real quick, though. Yeah, so now we're moving on to the last segment. The Oakland A's played their last game in the Oakland Coliseum. Very sad for both of us. We've had so many memories in the Coliseum, and it was really emotional seeing them. That last series, we got to see them walk it off for game 1 of the series against the Rangers, which was beautiful. Yeah. And then I went to the game on Wednesday. We lost, unfortunately, but it was still a great, everybody there was just having a good time. Yeah. And, just kind of really just accepting it. Soaking it in. Their last moments in the Coliseum, no, but it was kind of like a funeral, but then a party with it. Mm-hmm. It was just walking in, walking out. I walked out with a cup holder. Yeah. I have a little piece of shout out of Oakland Coliseum at home right now. Yeah. But it was beautiful. And then on the last game ever, they won 3-2. That was a great game. The game-winning run that we had, the left fielder, I forgot what his name was for the Rangers, but the sun shined in his eyes, dropped a ball, and then we scored a run, 2 outs left. And then he looked back playing against the Rangers when Josh Hamilton. Yeah. They won the AL West with that. Yeah. Sun in Josh Hamilton's eyes, he's dropped the ball. It was just... It was so beautiful. You got to be romantic about baseball. You got to be romantic about baseball. It's crazy. Yeah, so the A's, it was really emotional for them in that last game. Their manager, Mark Kotsay, gave a great speech after, getting that last Let's Go Oakland chant. All the players wanted to wear their jerseys that say Oakland across and not Athletics. Yeah. They made that a big point. They wanted to rep Oakland and not the Athletics. Not the Athletics. But next year, they're coming to SAC. Kind of excited. I'm excited. I'm very excited, actually. But it's just sad that the Coliseum is, hopefully in a few years, if they don't stay in SAC, maybe could work it up. Yeah, that whole place got bought, so the Oakland Roots will still be playing there next year. Yeah. So Coliseum's not gone. I got that wrong. Yeah. Not getting torn down or anything. Uh-huh. Roots will still be playing. There's a new group that's going to be developing everything there, so we can talk about that in the future for sure. Yeah, for sure. All right, well, this has been week 14 in a row of Beam City Sports on 96.5 FM. If you're listening on YouTube, please go subscribe, like, comment, share. This is Tyler Texeira and Luke Mitchell coming to you in Sacramento, California. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you, Sacramento. I'll see you next week when it's cooler, but we'll still be hot in the studio. Yes, sir. Cheers.